Why do you keep fucking up being selfish when you need to be selfless?
And what you allow to come in your mind controls your fucking heart. Get up! A man's word right now doesn't mean shit. Imagine if you just have that in your life. You have the truth and you have honor. That everything that comes out of your fucking mouth, you do it. That you do the shit that you said you're gonna do.
Welcome to another episode of the Warrior Week podcast. I am Coach Max. This is our coach, Coach Sam. How you doing today?
Hey, how we doing?
Very good, Coach. Today, I want to talk about the enemy of selfishness. There's a very interesting place to be where a man is always talking about he wants to serve, but then he always brings back this value of it has no value to me, or there's this essence of wanting to give, but not understanding how to give, but always taking. And that's something where I see it a lot inside of men. I see it inside of relationships specifically, where it's a hard boundary to have. And then at the other time, it's a hard understanding of when you're being selfish and when you're being selflessness, you know? And men don't like serving other men. They act like they do, but unless you're in sports, that's really the only environment I've seen it in. And I'll give you an example is when people talk about it's not personal, it's business, and it's like, no, motherfucker, business is personal. So that's kind of where this question comes is how should I be selflessness, or how should I have selflessness? And then when should I be selfish?
Yeah, very good point. A few things. One is basically on the let's talk about the transaction of, hey man, it's not personal, it's business. and then the other side of the coin that says people don't buy from businesses, people buy from people. So when it's time to buy, you buy from a person. But when it's time to let go, it's no longer personal, it's about the business. It's funny how people's intention is revealed in their action. And this really brings us to the point that you addressed, that men say they do want to serve, men claim that they want to help, and in reality, that is true. Every single man that is not fucked up, right, in a sense of like literally that is not a person that wants to murder somebody, or a person that wants to rape somebody. We're talking about like literally somebody that is quite doing okay in society, right? If you ask any man, they will tell you, yeah, man, I want to help. I want to help. I want to help others. I want to help others. I want to help others is a 98% checklist that everybody would say yes. And you know what? It's true. What they say they want to help, they agree with the principle of helping others and servicing. The disagreement happens in the application of the principle, in the application of the help, in the application of the service, in the circumstances in which they put conditions around. I will only help you if and only it helps me. And so that's really not serving others, that's really serving yourself. And ultimately, that's coming back to being selfish. And which we're gonna have to break down here.
Yeah, so like being selfish, when I think of it, I always think of a person that is very concerned of themselves, right? It's all about self-focus versus outward focus, or even other focus. It's an interesting thing, because even when you try to be outward focused, you're still, like you said, what is serving me? What is it? If I do this, what will you give me back? You know, or if I help you, how is this helping me? Or will anybody else see this for this to be worth it for me to help you?
Yeah, 100%. Like selfishness is very simple. Self and fish. And so you can get pretty grammatical around it and look in the dictionary. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go by the sound. Let's do that by the sound. Fish, selfish. It just, to me, it resonates like the flesh. And what the flesh is the desires that we have inside of us. So let's just break it down to a very systematic approach. Selfishness, it's really responding to the menu of desires that we have. We all have a menu of desires. It's inside of us. It's in our spirit, period. We are born with it, and we come with this desire. The person that serves the menu, the exact same item that we want, is the world, and as well as the devil and the demonic system. Now, you may say, I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in the demonic system. Doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that they're serving the menu. You can believe it or not, but the menu is being served. And so we're not debating right here whether you believe in the devil or the demonic forces or not. What we're saying is the reality is there is a menu inside of you called desires. And that menu is 100% known by these two forces outside, which is the demonic forces and the devil, and as well as the world. The world is a system that we are born into. And that the world and the demons come together pretty well in conjunction with what our desires are. And that's where we have to battle every single day. To be selfness, to be selfless, meaning less of the self, is to win the battle as much as we can against this three system. The first one inside of us, the second one are external, which I describe as the world that we're born into, and the demonic forces and the devil. The coalition of these three systems is what we're fighting every single day. They work with each other pretty well. Yeah. And nobody's born in this world without that desire menu.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell right away whether you look at it or not. When you are selfish, immediately you feel entitled. Mm-hmm. You have almost a negative connotation to everything, and it's all about me, and it just brings more to you, and you just want to harm. There's nothing where you're like, oh, I'm positive about being selfish.
Well, absolutely. But the new era, or even our manipulated self, projects it differently. Oh, I'm in the business of helping others. I'm in the business of serving others. I'm in the business of making everybody's dream come true. I make dreams come true. My purpose is to help others. My purpose is to help others find their purpose. Really? So you help others find their purposes. And your purpose is to find other people find your purposes. To me, that sounds like a cul-de-sac of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And so therefore, I'm going to justify the principalities of it. Hey, man, you tell me you help people find their purposes. I got nothing negative to say against you. In principle, that sounds like a great way of serving. In application, how are you doing it? Well, I help them see different perspective. Do you? Yes, because I have a set of talents, and you know I've acquired a set of skills, and these God-given skills help me give different perspective to others. Is it you? Is it really you? Or to some extent, if it's truly you, then you probably are being an instrument in the process. And the purpose giver is the one that gives clarity to the purpose receiver. You see, the self always plays a role. Mm-hmm. And it wants to claim a trophy that I am doing it. The labels that I am the one. And this idea of I being the bridge between what is and what possibility at all, it's a false teaching. It's a false claim.
Yeah, almost like rather than saying I am the one, that he is the one. And then now you have this, right? Because then, like you said, you're in this cul-de-sac or this fucking cycle of coming back. So if I'm the purpose giver and I give you purpose and you need to come back for more purpose, now we're going into this fucking loop. And really, I'm not giving you purpose. I'm making you rely on me.
100%. And you know what? This is the personal development industry. And I don't blame anybody. I'm not here to blame anybody at all. If you don't have God in your life, of course you're going to be the one. You now have become the purpose giver. You now have become God. Some of them are even more humble. It's like, really, it's not me. It's the voice coming through me. It's the universe. It's like, they're falsely giving credit to some kind of bigger power, but yet they can't say, oh, it's all from Christ. It's all from God. They can't solidify that standing in the ground because they don't believe in it, because they're afraid if they take a claim for that they'll be rejected, or people won't subscribe to their services. We are living in a world where the self is hiding and the self is projecting to be the God.
Yeah, I mean, that's because there's no accountability there, like we talked about before. Yeah, there's no accountability to it. So then why not? Why not be the one that gives it, and then why not be the one that's entitled to take it? Like this is all me doing it. And that's really where I really like the word when I think of coach versus a trainer, because a trainer is one like an animal that walks it around. A coach is one who sits back and watches the fruit of what was given through him to them.
Correct.
Right? Like that's literally how I think of a coach. And when you're in action now, hey, the athlete's on their own.
Yeah,
I'm just now, the plays are there, the training's there. Now it's on these fucking guys to do what's the fucking supposed to be happening.
100%.
So it's not on me anymore. Win or loss, it's on them, and it was given to them.
Yep.
And it's passed on. And I feel like too, back to the selfishness, men always have to have this like concern of the IP. Like this is my property. This is my fucking property. And I remember a coach telling me when I was real young, and I always tell you this too, like, hey, you give me credit twice, then it's your own.
Right.
You pass it on. And I'm like, fuck. And basically what he was telling me was that, hey, this is yours now that you have it.
Right. Correct. I remember that. Yeah.
And yet men struggle with allowing that to give it on.
Yeah. And I have a different philosophy, which is, a rapid access to what you said, which is, hey man, if you get it, it's yours. Like, yes. I get it. Like, you don't want to get, it's not about crediting anyone. It wasn't his anyway. It was given to him for the era that he was. For that era, he came in and it was given to him and it made an impact. We are 600 years later. If you're getting it, it's your era. It's yours. Run with it. What is important is the impact you're going to have on the things that you've been given the understanding. And so, to the industry that is promoting the self, the disease is the absence of God. And the absence of God in individual creates an absence of God in collective people that will use divine words and divine responsibility and make them human, such as purpose. Everyone's purpose is only given by God and God only. There is not other human that can give you purpose. They can't even show you your purpose. If you know your purpose, God has given you eyes to see it. If you haven't, you're blind and you have a story that you have a purpose. That's why I keep changing your purpose every week, every fucking year, every decade. If you've changed your purpose multiple times and you're thinking about changing it again, you got to ask yourself, who is at the center of your life? And it happens to be the self. Well, you're just doing a big cul-de-sac walk, big circle walk around. And there's an audience for that. There's an audience for there's a massive audience right now because people are hurt. People are so distant from God that any Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes in and provides the promises of living your best life right now, the promises of, hey, here's how you can make money, the promises, here's how you can have the best sex in your life, the promises of greed and temptation and sexual lust is what seems to be on the menu. It seems to be on top of the menu. And guess what? These people come in without knowing there's demonic forces behind it. The dialogue that they have serves the menu. And that's what I'm trying to put a painting in this conversation is that objects are closer than what they may appear, which means the people that you consider really good in your life, you should really ask where the source of goodness comes from. And if the source of goodness is not linked to God, hey man, it's not a goodness. It's not goodness. It's evil pretending to be goodness, period. And we have an expression in the Persian culture. There's an expression. It's a very simple expression. I'm going to translate it, but to make sense to me, but hopefully it makes sense in English. It says, as long as there is donkey, there will be donkey riders.
Yes, that makes sense.
So as long as there's going to be ignorant people, there's going to be people that are going to take advantage of ignorant people.
Yeah, and it goes back to also when you said right there in regards to people are suffering, the issue too, again, God's not in it, but also too, they want to serve the flesh and not realizing that what they're doing, if that's truly their purpose and God gave them that purpose, it's important.
Yeah.
It's important. And because of society and the way that they've been born into this system, they think like, oh, okay, hey, this job doesn't have value because I'm a janitor.
Right.
This job doesn't have value
right.
because I'm a car wash. And there's a lot of impact inside there, impact with the stewardship of the family around you, stewardship of your community, stewardship of the people that you have contact with. One of the biggest fucking impact that I've had was from a homeless man.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
So that being said, you know, it's difficult sometimes inside of this community and inside of society to be okay with, hey, this is my purpose.
Yeah.
This is my purpose.
Well, it's simple. You want to know what your fucking purpose is? Your purpose is to know God. That's the only purpose.
There we go.
That's it. That's the answer. To stop fucking going around and running the mountains of Himalaya and going up to Mount Everest trying to fucking find yourself. Stop paying money to Tom, Dick, and Harry to, come into this event and we'll help you fucking clap fingers and jump in the air and find your purpose. Walk over to fire and find your purpose. You're not going to find your goddamn purpose there, man. If you don't know God, then you will never find your fucking purpose. So why don't you commit in knowing God? And he's been revealed. He's been revealed in nature and he's been revealed in the Bible. In the only book where he's truly revealed, he tells you who he is. Pick it up. There is not a better activity that you can put your mind on than knowing him. And by the way, it's not guaranteed that you'll end up knowing him, but it is the best course of action that a man can take. So, hey, if you're listening to this and you feel purposeless, if you listen to this and you know that you have no idea who God is, that you've repeated God and repeated Jesus, the words, and repeated Christ just because people are repeating and you have some idea, but you don't know who it is, pick up the book. There you will find your fucking purpose. It will take some time. It's not guaranteed because it's not up to you. Just because you're looking for it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed you will find it. He will give it to you. And even if you pick it up, it's because he wanted you to pick up the book.
Yeah, and you might have picked it up at one point and then put it down and then picked it up again somewhere else because you've been pushed off of it because it was time to let it be and then come back.
We've all been there.
Yeah, absolutely. I am, yeah.
We've all been there. And it wasn't until a day where somebody came in and said, pick the fucking book. And you're like, oh, right. Bro, you know what? That sounds different. Because in church, everybody's telling me, read the Bible, read the Bible, read the Bible. Now somebody's kicking my balls and telling me, pick up the fucking book. What book? The book of all time, not the book of the week, not the book of the month, not the book of the year, the book of all era, the book of life, the instruction where God has revealed himself. And watch your life change.
Yeah, I even think of recently there was this debate about the fucking a phone version of the Bible versus a paper version of the Bible, and then it's like, fuck. At one point it was a scroll, man. And before it was even a book. The book was the computer back in the day. When you got the book and you got to get out of the scroll, you were like, oh fuck, this is it. now the phone is it, and now people are poo-pooing and like that's shit. That's fucking the devil's work. And it's like, no, it's the Bible. You have easy access to it. What the fuck's your problem? It just pick it up, just read it, right. and how be aware of it. And it's okay that you're in there. And then when you get inside there, then you start to realize this selflessness, and then you become a little bit more selfless, and you find yourself kind of in this journey. But then there's suddenly this radical feeling comes out that I want to go to another country, or I need to help out somebody else. And again, it's like this pull of not understanding that it's all about your local community.
Yeah.
Your local community.
Your world.
Your world.
You're right. You know, as we get inspired, we feel like we have to go miles away to make a difference. My friend, you can make a difference today in your Starbucks by simply, going in there and, giving a $50 tip on a $5 coffee. Don't overthink this. You'll be very surprised, like the reaction of a person to an completely out of the box attitude. And it's okay, bro. It's 2023. You can color outside of the lines. It's time for you to start coloring outside of the lines. or else you're fucked. Because this idea of personal development, this idea of self, focusing on yourself, and claiming, oh, I'm focusing on myself and my family. No, motherfucker, you're focusing on yourself, and you're using your family to say, I'm focusing on myself and my family. Self is just a story of coloring inside of the lines. And many good men have died with perfect pigmentation and perfect scenarios of colors, not a little thing outside of the box. You'll never find your purpose if you keep coloring inside of the line. It's when you start coloring outside of line 2023 that you start saying, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Christ didn't show up for the people that were inside the box,
Nope.
Inside the line. But when you said pick up the word, get inside of it, and then you start to realize this. Now another problem becomes is how you inform your mind. How things are coming in, how, like what you're saying, like everybody tells me, okay, I got a color inside, and that's why we've had a bad taste with church before, or we had a bad taste with another interaction with another Christian, or like there's something there that always kind of happens where there almost has to be a restructuring of the way you think and the way you process things. And there's really no other system besides Warrior Week that I've seen or been involved with, or that I've known because I'm here. So if that's something where you want to restructure the way you take in information, you want to rethink on how you process things, go check out warriorweek.com. I mean, that's the fucking bottom line. But not to get too far off of it, like, where is the starting point? Okay, I received the word, and then all of a sudden now I have to be careful of how the fuck I receive other things.
Well, a man's character is primarily formulated and reflected around the God that he worships. And if you don't know the God you're worshiping, then you're fucked. Because now your entire character is around worshiping an unknown God, which means if you don't get it right with God, everything else in your life is wrong. You're wrong as a husband. You're wrong as a dad. You're wrong as a family man. You're wrong as an employer, as an employee. You're wrong as a man of a society. Everything is wrong. If the source is not right, everything else is wrong. So the most important thing that comes in our mind is how we think of God. Can you think about something else more important that you can think about?
No.
I literally cannot think about anything else more important than think about God. So the most important thing that comes in our mind is about God, so that when I get in the book, my primary mission initially is to ask and ask for help. Can God please help me see you in there? Please inform my mind with who you are. That's what all this scripture is there. The book is him revealing his character. I got to know him. I got to know his love. I got to know his mercy. I got to know his patience. I got to know the fact that that he reigns, and the fact that he's sovereign, and it's his will. I got to know these things. I got to know his wrath. I got to know that he's an angry God. If I don't know if he's an angry God, then how do I even make sense out of grace? Grace for what? I'm saved from what? I have to know God. And to know God, my friend, it's you in the book. It's you in the book, and this idea of you asking God to open your eyes and reveal himself in you. It's a personal relationship at that point. Now, you may have people around you that could help you study that, but at one point, as long as you see this as an intellectual practice, you'll never get to where you need to go.
Well, that's like the difference of questioning versus question. Like I have a question about something versus I am questioning it, right? So if I'm in a moment where I'm asking God a question, it's okay. I'm not questioning him. I'm not questioning it. I just have a question. And I think we get told so easily not to ask questions.
True.
True. And that's basically the action item of today, is like what you're saying is ask. It's okay to ask. It's okay to be needy to God. It's okay to ask these questions to God because it's your relationship to him.
True.
So moving forward, don't be shy to ask those questions. Don't be shy to ask that in itself, and you're not sinful for doing it. You know, if anything, being sinful is saying that was lucky instead of I was blessed lucky.
Correct.
You know, understanding that process. So the action item today is specifically, hey, ask God a question. It's okay. Ask God a question. Bring him your neediness and bring that to him today. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And in regards to it, if you guys have anything in regards to watching this, seeing it, check out warriorweeknow.com. Again, if this is something that resonated with you or you're looking for a new operating system, look at warriorweek.com. Follow us on IG, Facebook, and also on YouTube. Subscribe. And then if you have any other questions, go fuck yourself. Talk to you soon.
Beautiful.
Quit on your wife, quit on your kids, quit on your desires. It's okay to be okay. Manually putting the fucking blindfold on yourself. Tonight, you're gonna find out what power is.